Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play the Dagger of Amon. Last time we made it to the museum party and spoke with Ziggy and with, Dr. Pippin Carter, and now we're going to have a conversation with the museum secretary, Yvette Delacroix. So let's see what she has to say.
Monsieur Agostini, you know him? I understand he's a very powerful man at the newspaper. I would like to meet him sometime.
Oh, I'm sure you would.
Ah, Monsieur Pippin, he is such a great man. And quite attractive, no?
So yeah, unlike Colonel's request, you can actually talk about people with other people in front of the person you're talking about. Because Dr. Pippin Carter's right there.
Dr. Carrington is my superior, so I'd rather not be saying the bad things about him.
What bad thing?
He is very strange, even for a man. Ah, but you are trying to trick me, no? It's best that I am not talking about him.
Yeah, I guess it's weird having to get used to a new boss since you were the secretary for the former president, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah, Monsieur O'Reilly, he is magnifique. He is so intelligent, so confident, so... Ooh la la.
I assume you've met him before tonight.
Oh yes, we are, how do you say, the old friends. And it never hurts to have the highly placed friend on the local police force, no?
I suppose that's true. What do you think of his burglary investigation?
People here, they keep saying Monsieur O'Reilly, his investigation of the dagger is not good, but he tries very hard. I have seen him work, but the dagger thief, he is very good, no?
He? You think the burglar was a man?
It is only the manner of speaking, Miss Paul. This burglar, she could have been the female as well.
That's true. We can't rule anybody out yet. Don't have enough information. And okay, she's not quite as long-winded as Dr. Carter, so might get past this a little bit faster.
Ah, the godfather! I met him only once on the train. The train was the sleeper car. It was dark, and I climbed into his berth by mistake. He will always remember that meeting, I am sure. I, unfortunately, will have forgotten it in a few months.
Well, you seem to remember it now, but yeah, remember he was talking about it was dark and he wasn't married at the time. Yeah. Oh, low fat.
The low fat, I know him. The little laundry I take to the cleaners, low fat does it himself. We have the deal he enjoys, so it costs me nothing.
Yeah, you're probably starting to figure out her game already.
I do not believe I have met your father, Miss Bow, unless it was long ago and I have forgotten. I have met so many men, it is hard to keep track of them all.
It's disturbing.
The annoying little man, I met him at this speakeasy long ago, but he is not my class of person, no. He is of the criminal type.
Well, you seem to have met him when you were still doing another career.
Dr. Miklos and I, we have much of the fun together. She is very friendly. Many times we have run through the museum chasing the daisy, no?
Daisy? Yeah, you'll find out who or what Daisy is in a bit, so don't worry about that.
Yes, I am Yvette Delacroix, but I am not one to be talking about myself too much, no? I am not like the great Dr. Carter, who has so many of the great stories to tell.
Yeah, a few too many for my taste. That took up so much of the episode.
Monsieur Heimlich, he is the intense fellow, no? Very military, very stiff and straight. I feel very safe around him, but I also feel uncomfortable. He patrols the museum so much. It is strange the dagger was stolen from under his nose, no?
That is very
Do you
strange.
suspect him of stealing the dagger?
Who knows? I am not the policeman. But he seemed very upset about the burglary. Maybe too upset, no?
So yeah, sometimes they'll say some interesting things that you want to remember when you talk to him.
Ah, this Steve, he is so big and handsome, no?
How do you know Steve, huh?
Ah, the Countess, she is not what she seems, no?
What do you mean?
Her last husband, he was afraid of her. He told me. Then as I learned more, I was becoming afraid of her too.
Why? She seems like a nice old lady.
It is all the act, no? She is a dangerous one. Now I think she is after Dr. Carrington's money, since I am seeing them together so often lately.
I don't understand. Why is she so dangerous?
Just be trusting me, Miss Bow. Stay away from the Countess. People die when she's around.
Oh dear.
That's disturbing. So the Countess was married to the former head of the museum, who Yvette was also the secretary of, and I guess the former head became scared of her, and Yvette became scared of her as well, and then he died. And now we have a new head of the museum who Countess has her eye on as well. Interesting. Very interesting.
Monsieur Nagir, he is a funny little man. I see him in many strange places in the museum. But he is only the accountant for us, so I don't understand why he is here all the time.
Do you think Mr. Nagir could have stolen the dagger?
Why, because he is the Egyptian? I do not think so, Miss Bow, but I do not know him so very well. He is a man after all, and who knows how they are thinking.
You're one to talk. Actually, we know exactly what you're thinking, so never mind. Yeah, he's only a secretary, but he hangs around the museum a lot in strange places.
I only read the financial section of the newspaper. The stock market, it is looking so good. I am going to buy some very soon.
Oh, that is so not a good idea.
I support the police in every possible way I can. I have never been to the police station, but I know many street cops and detectives, and they are all the gentlemen to me.
I bet they are.
Monsieur Lofat, he does some of the laundry, but I do most of the lacy and delicate things myself, no?
Oh my.
The dogs? Ah, there are many of the men down there, and they are so big and so charming. They have been very generous to me. The museum, it is such a wonderful place to work. The people, they are so friendly, and I am enjoying my work here. I intend to be the president someday.
Oh, really? And how are you working your way up to that? Because Dr. Carter also wants to be the president someday.
New York, it is a rough place for the newcomer, no? So many people in the one place. It reminds me of Paris, but it is where all the money is, no? The Americans, they have so much more money than the French. This speakeasy, it used to be the good place of the business for me, no? Then I got this job, so I don't have to do that anymore.
What kind of work did you do at the speakeasy?
That's a good question, Laura.
I was the hostess there for a while.
With your appearance, you must have gotten a lot of tips.
I suppose you could be calling it that. I got the very big tips.
Oh my gosh, that... Oh boy. Oh boy, I had no comment.
Has this been a good year for you, Miss Delacroix?
Ah yes, every year is a good year for me, Miss Bow. It is all a matter of the attitude, no?
Why, that seems like a very healthy point of view.
Merci, Miss Bow. You are very kind.
Of course, about the burglary.
It is terrible to think someone could break into this museum and steal something so valuable. Monsieur Heimlich, he is all broken up about it, although he doesn't show it.
How did Dr. Carrington react to the burglary?
Dr. Carrington is a very dignified man. There is not much you can learn from his face. He seems to have taken the burglary very well, although he was angry with Wolf about the poor security.
Do you have any idea who might have stolen the dagger?
There are many suspicious people here tonight who could have done it. The
Very true.
Countess, for example, or the little man Ziggy. But I have not the proof, you understand?
So everyone has their own suspicions about somebody.
You should ask Dr. Miklos or Dr. Smith about that.
Who's Dr. Smith? We haven't really heard much about him yet. Anyway, we're done with Yvette Delacroix, so let's talk to this gentleman. We don't know who this is.
Good evening, sir. My name is Laura Bow.
I am Ramses Najir, Miss Bow. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
So this is Ramses Najir, the guy with the whittles, who's the accountant for the museum.
1,000 curses on that man!
Oh,
He
my.
defiled the tombs of my sacred ancestors for his own personal glory. He doesn't care a fig for what's right and what's wrong. His own evil deeds will catch up with him, though. Just wait and see.
Uh-oh. That's suspicious already. Now, if you could have noticed, he has a lisp.
I have heard a great deal about Mr. Carrington, but I do not know him very well. We have only spoken once or twice, but he seems like a cultured, charming fellow.
Huh, so you haven't really known him for that long.
To be perfectly honest, I do not care for Mr. O'Reilly. I do not think he sees the beauty in ancient Egypt. He is somewhat blunt in his approach to others as well. I suppose that is just part of his job, however.
Yeah, we've noticed all that stuff about him.
Crodfallers? No, thank you. I try to restrict my intake of sugar. It has a bad effect on me. I do not know Ziggy very well, but he makes me uneasy. His eyes remind me of a jackal's. I met him briefly at the party, then avoided him the rest of the time.
Even though he's standing right here. Oh well. Yeah, he's a creepy little dude.
Dr. Miklos is a brilliant individual, but he is certainly a little strange. Ah well, we all have our foibles, don't we, Miss Bow?
Very true, and I like her. She's cool, so.
Miss Yvette is a charming young lady, and so friendly. She seems genuinely interested in Egyptology. We had a long discussion about tombs one time.
Oh, seriously, game.
I find Mr. Heimlich to be most intimidating. He seems to enjoy looming over people.
Yeah, we'll have to deal with him a little bit during this game.
The Countess is quite a colorful lady. She seems to enjoy life to the fullest, does she not? Just between you and me, she scares me a little.
Why is that, Mr. Najir?
Scares him too.
Well, she's just too enthusiastic for me, I suppose.
If you say so.
Why, I am Ramses Najir, Miss Bow. I am an accountant and a proud father of 2.5. The police are useless. It is not the police who will uncover the thief of the dagger. It will be his own evil deeds turned back on him like an angry cobra.
That's pretty scary. He doesn't trust the police to do what's right.
Oh dear, the docks are very rough places, Miss Bow. I stay away from them. I would suggest that you do the same. Attractive young ladies like yourself are the favorite prey of the jackals who prowl there at night.
Huh. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, he's a big fan of his own Egyptian heritage.
The Lion Dagger is a beautiful museum, Miss Bow, but I do not approve of the spoiling of my ancestors' tombs, much less the wanton display of their bodies and their personal effects.
So we have a suspect here for the stealing of the dagger, I believe.
Mr. Najee, would you say that 1926 has been a good year for you?
Well, yes, I would have to say so. Business in America is booming, and many people need an accountant. I have not wanted for work, and my beloved wife Isis is soon to deliver our third child. I suppose I am as happy as a man should be.
Congratulations on the upcoming blessed event, Mr. Najee.
Aww.
What are your other children's names?
Well, there's Horus and Amon, and the new baby shall be named Anubis, after the wise and just Lord of the Dead.
Oh, how lovely.
You are...
But what if the child is a girl?
The name shall be Anubis either way. It is a wonderful name for either a boy or a girl.
Yeah, you're really obsessed with Egyptian heritage, aren't you?
Mr. Najee, would you have any idea who might have stolen the Dagger of Amon Ra?
No, but whoever did should be boiled alive. He should be fed to hungry crocodiles. His guts should be strung from the pyramids. He should... Oh, excuse me. I get a little passionate on the subject.
Quite all right, Mr. Najee. I understand.
Wow, he's really passionate about that dagger. And one more thing.
Are you an Egyptologist, Mr. Najee?
No, not professionally. I have always been interested in the history of my country and made a point of studying it. I am particularly interested in ancient Egyptian religions.
Ancient Egyptian religions, huh? Well, he's not going to tell us any more about that, but that seems like that's something that'd be interesting. And finally we have a Dr. Archibald Carrington.
Good evening, Dr. Carrington.
Good evening, Miss Bow. Good evening.
Well, I'll ask him a few questions before I go. Since I haven't been doing much in this episode anyway, because there's a lot of stuff to ask.
The fellow has quite an overinflated ego. He's got a legitimate reason for it, I suppose.
Alright. Yeah, his responses are going to be short, so don't worry too much about that.
Well, that's me, young lady. Dr. Archibald Carrington III, at your service.
Alright then. And if you can tell, I'm going to be cutting out responses that don't really say much or just are just useless.
Oh, he's a good enough chap for a law enforcement peon.
And you don't really have much to say about anybody, do you?
Miss Bow, I find it vaguely offensive that you would even think that I know anyone named Ziggy.
You're standing right across from him.
Dr. Miklas is one of the museum's most respected curators.
And what else about her? You don't say anything else about her.
I really haven't had much interaction with Miss Delacroix. Well, of course, she is my assistant, so I guess I should correct myself and say that I do have interaction with her. But I don't know her very well, really.
Enter something.
He's a real pip. A genuine go-getter, that fellow. He does a jolly good job of guarding the museum. Jolly good.
Anything else?
A stevedore? I'm afraid I don't discourse with proletarian ruffians of that stripe.
Who uses the term proletarian ruffian anymore?
Now there's a lady who truly supports the arts. A real patron, that old girl.
And she seems very interested in you.
Now there's an intense personality. He doesn't look it, but there's something seething below the surface. I'm frightfully sure of it. In any case, the fellow is a fine accountant. I've only been there once, but I found the docks to be full of pugilistic ruffians and parasite-infested rodentia.
What are these huge words he's saying? Does he, like, read a thesaurus at night before going to bed?
The Lion Decker is simply fantastic, Miss Bow. This is the opportunity of a lifetime.
That's all you have to say. You're the president of the museum, and that's all you have to say about it.
Have you found 1926 to be a good year for you, Dr. Carrington?
Yes, I would, Miss Bow. Frightfully good.
And what is that, Doctor?
It's not often that one gets the opportunity to head up the most respected museum in America, Miss Bow.
Alright, so that's all you really have to say about that.
What do you make of the theft of the dagger, Dr. Carrington?
It's simply beastly. What is the world coming to when crepuscular ruffians can invade a museum like Visigoths?
Do you have any idea who could have done such a thing?
Not at all. But if I did, I'd be tempted to teach the brute a lesson.
You seem to be trying really hard to come up with these big words, aren't you?
Egyptology is all quite the fashion now, Miss Bow. But it's been a serious science for many years. I can recommend a number of fine books if you're interested.
So just telling us about it yourself, you're just going to recommend books. Alright, so we've spoken to Yvette, who's pretty much a slut for every man out here. And somehow is able to use that to get her way. We have Mr. Ramses Najir, who is very obsessed with his Egyptian heritage and is upset about the theft of the dagger. And then Dr. Archibald Carrington, who doesn't really say much about anybody. Or anything, or anywhere. He's just sort of straight to the point, very... I don't know. Anyway, before I end this off, I'm going to show you eavesdropping. You know, I'm going to make this episode long just to show you some cool stuff. Walk behind him.
There I was, standing on the hillside above the excavation in the Valley of the Kings, with the faithful Mahmud describing the dance of the Seven Veils to me in great detail, when a shout arose up from the workers below us. Sensing an important discovery at hand, since I have a sixth sense about these things, I scurried downhill to see that a step had been uncovered in the sand. It turned out to be the entrance to the Temple of Amon-Ra.
Very conspicuous,
I took the trowel from
Good
the
job.
basket sphere and cleared the sand away from the rest of the steps myself, revealing the entrance to the temple. The seal of the necropolis was intact on the door seal, indicating that the temple had not been disturbed. I knew that fate had brought me to the discovery I had been seeking for so long.
So
Tireless
long-winded.
after my exertion in clearing the staircase, I used a sledgehammer to break through the sealed doorway. Within lay the greatest accomplishment of my considerable career. Hidden within the darkness, untouched for thousands of years in the isolated temple, lay the magnificent Dagger of Amon-Ra, the greatest discovery of modern archaeology.
If you say so.
Good show.
Magnifique. Very impressive, Dr. Carter.
So, that's when you heisted it, right?
Heisted.
No, I didn't heist it, you annoying little man. I took it out of the temple and showed it to the workers, who immediately fell upon their faces, all 350 of them, to show respect for my accomplishment.
That's hard to believe, Dr. Carter. Egyptian workers have proudly worked the archaeological digs for many years. I would not think they'd exaggerate their respect for you to such an extent.
Yeah, I doubt that was for you.
But then you weren't there, were you, Mr. Nagier?
Well, no, that's true.
And when was the last time you were in Egypt, Mr. Nagier? You seem to have lost some of your accent.
Well, it has been several years.
I thought as much.
Your discovery really was quite a remarkable achievement, Dr. Carter.
Was remarkable, Dr. Carrington? You mean it is a remarkable achievement? There has never been anything like it before.
Quite so. Correction noted, Doctor.
If you will all be excusing me, I see a man I need to speak to.
Certainly, Miss Delacroix. Certainly.
Alright, so that will end off the episode for now. Man, this is going on long. Don't know how long it'll be since I'll be doing some cuts, but anyway, next time we will have some conversations with some more people and perhaps listen in on some more conversations. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a good day.